Hey everybody, it's Bobi aka Paginator, and today we're doing some crafting where we pull prompts from a jar. These prompts came from Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. In a recent video, I think it was a few weeks ago, she created some prompts and put them in a jar and drew out some to create with. And I took her prompts and put them in this jar, which is way too big because the prompts, they're not very many and they're little, but this jar is massive. Anyway, we're going to draw some prompts out and create with these today. I will also link the video that Barbara did this in the space down below. It was one of her lives. And yeah, it was really fun and inspiring to watch. So I've been wanting to create something with this jar of prompts or using this jar. And here we go. My jar, it's an old popcorn jar from like a fundraiser. This company, Double Good Popcorn. Years ago, I got this jar of popcorn from some kid that was doing a fundraiser, and I decorated it up with some steampunk stickers. And now we're ready to draw a prompt. I am hoping that these prompts will work in one of my current projects. So let's just see what we're gonna do first. Flashback fragment. Use an image, word, or object that brings back a memory from your life and share the story behind it. Okay. I have my junk journal planner here. This is open to May because when I'm filming this, we're still in May. You won't see it till sometime in June. But what I use this junk journal planner for is documenting the creative things that I have done. I add in some things that I do outside of being creative, like when I went to this rodeo movie, I printed out my ticket and stuff. I have little tidbits from traveling, different things. I do a different monthly theme. So this is May, and I usually use Barbara's junk journal planner kits, Barbara from 49 Dragonflies, that made the prompts that are in the jar and that kind of thing. So I could add something here. That space is kind of empty. I could also add something here. Let's go back here because I would like there to be something there. And the image for my flashback fragment is going to be one of the ladies from this. I printed out these pages ages ago, meaning to use them in a journal, and kind of got sidetracked on other things. And these ladies with their big flourishy hats make me think about when I went to Louisville, Kentucky and visited the Churchill Downs Racetrack and Museum. Let's see, we need one with a hat for sure, and I really like this lady here. So I think we're gonna fussy cut around her. All right, while I start playing with different pieces and deciding how else to decorate this, let's talk about the story that this goes with. Years ago, I went to Louisville, Kentucky to a JASNA conference. JASNA is the Jane Austen Society of North America, and the conference was for members of that society to get together and celebrate Jane Austen. Then you can dress up in Regency dress if you want to. There's a big dinner and ball on the last night. There's different breakout sessions and things. They have a place to shop for stuff. I bought a Regency style dress there that I'm absolutely in love with. That was back when I was skinny, so unfortunately I can't wear it anymore, but yeah, the experience was amazing. Now, this lady is not meant to represent a Regency era lady. This lady is meant to represent the Kentucky Derby. When we signed up for the conference, we had the option to sign up for extra experiences. And because the conference was in Louisville, one of the experiences you could sign up for was this tour that would take you to Churchill Downs, where the Kentucky Derby is held, as well as a historic home where George Rogers Clark once lived, or stayed or something. Anyway, kind of incorporated Jane Austen into the history that they told at the house, because they knew that all of us on our bus anyway were booking through the Jasna convention. And the house itself was gorgeous, and it was a really fun place. And then the most exciting part for me was when we went to Churchill Downs. The connection between myself and Churchill Downs is that I was raised in a family very involved with horses. My grandpa trained racehorses for a long, long time, especially when I was very young. I attended a lot of horse races, and I have some memories of attending the horse races. And I knew, okay, that stamp didn't come through very well except for right here. Let's see if we can re-ink and reapply a bit on this side. Anyway, I knew that my grandpa would be so angry with me if I did not visit Churchill Downs and I had a chance to. So I was able to go and visit the racetrack, stand in the actual dirt the horses run in. They have a museum there, and like, of course, a gift shop and that kind of thing. And I was able to buy a hat there for my grandpa, which he loved. He was super excited about. He is a tender-hearted guy, and he maybe cried a little bit when I gave him the hat. Let's see, do I want to use this purpley color? No. Ground espresso. One of the coolest things about the museum at Churchill Downs is the section on women's hats. Throughout the history of the Kentucky Derby, it's been a tradition for these women to wear these amazing decorated hats. And this lady's hat is actually a little bit underdone, understated in comparison to what a lot of the ladies traditionally wear or have worn for that race. Okay, I'm a little underwhelmed with how my stamp did, but that's all right. We can add some more things to add interest to the background. Do we want to do some oxide sprays maybe? I have shaded lilac, which I really, 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 really love, but I don't necessarily want it to get on all the pages. So I'm gonna stick this under here. I don't care if it gets a little bit on this page. Well, we did end up getting some here, so let's just add a bit more there. Ah, I'm getting it in all these places that nobody's gonna see. All right, I like how this color oxidizes. I will lift this up so you can see up close. Like, look at that, it goes to that lighter blue. That's really, really pretty. We're gonna add her here, and then maybe we will add some kind of sentiment or something. What more can I tell you about that trip? I can tell you that I left my art glitter glue on the other table. Hang on. Let's see. I can tell you that on that trip I went by myself. I was able to meet some people at the conference and, you know, hang with some people at different points, but it wasn't like I made a best friend or anything while I was there. It was so fun though. One of the most interesting sessions that we went to was about this theory about Mr. Wickham from Pride and Prejudice. Now, if you don't know Pride and Prejudice, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of some pertinent information. Okay, Regency era, we've got this family that has 4 daughters. Okay. 5 daughters, sorry. Poor Mary, I always forget her. And there is a young soldier in the neighborhood who very quickly ingratiates himself into the family and spends this sob story about how he's been hard done by and blah, blah, blah. And in the end, he ends up actually married to one of the sisters through some kind of shady deals and things that a real gentleman would not have done. So the course, or the session that we did that talked about him, this presenter said, I want to present to you my theory, and just kind of go with me in this and see what you think. And her theory was that Jane Austen was using Mr. Wickham as a character in Pride and Prejudice to out a real life spy that was living in her neighborhood. There was a man who, and I'm not going to be able to remember his name. I have to go back and find my notes from years and years ago at that conference. So in Jane Austen's world, in the neighborhood where she lived, why is this not working? Oh no. Oh no, we ruined it. I just smudged a purple smudge on her face. Okay, how can we fix that? I'll think about that while I'm telling you this. So where Jane Austen lived, there was a man in that kind of village or parish or whatever, that was widely believed to be a spy. And if you think about the way that Mr. Wickham acts, and he shares a similar name with Mr. Wickham, the real life guy. So it's probably George something with a W. If you think about Mr. Wickham in the book, as soon as he gets into this village where all the people are, our main characters and stuff, he starts telling this story. And it's kind of like a spy setting up a cover story. Gosh dang it, I'm so mad at myself. Look at that. She's got a big purple smush on her face. It's okay. It's okay. I keep losing my train of thought. Anyway, the presenter talked a lot about how there were similarities between the way that the character of Mr. Wickham behaved and the way a spy might behave in certain situations, and just all the shady things that Mr. Wickham gets up to. It's, yeah. She explained it really, really well, and unfortunately, I can't remember all the details that she gave us. Okay, even though I covered most of her face, we still got a purple spot up there. So maybe let's imagine this in our scenario. This young lady has been to the horse races and she has got a bit of mud on her face. Now, in this world, the mud is purple. Because why isn't it? She didn't care because the horse that she was betting on won, and so she's made herself a tidy little sum. And it doesn't matter that she's got some mud on her face. I got some stickers from a thrift store that there are a whole bunch of sentiment stickers. Quite a few are Shakespeare. There's some other ones. And I think what we'll do is just kind of flip through some of these and see if there's a quote that we like. And maybe that can be added to our page. So we have, "There is a world elsewhere" from Coriolanus, which is a Shakespeare play. There's a Jane Austen quote. "It isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do." This one I won't pick, but it's a good quote, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "I'm still learning to love the parts of myself that no one claps for." I think we have to do the Jane Austen quote because we've been talking about her, and that trip was very much all about her. In that same baggie of stickers, I have this, and while we were at the historical home, not the racetrack, but the other location we went to, we were able to pick some mistletoe. And this isn't exactly what mistletoe looks like, but it's going to remind me of that experience. Okay. Are we done here, or do we need to add something else? I kind of feel like this is good for our first prompt. We have officially splattered purple mud on our girl's face unintentionally, and I think we're ready to move on to another prompt. There are 5 other prompts in the jar, and I think we should do at least one more, maybe 2. Let's give the jar another good shake. And our second prompt shall be, Camouflage it. Add something that blends in so well you almost miss it, like journaling disguised as background texture or a hidden quote behind a fold. Okay. Okay, I've turned to another spread in the May planner. It is actually before this week that I'm filming. We have this spread with some potion bottles and that kind of stuff. Or maybe not potion bottles, but they're potion bottles to me. And in the ephemera kit, we also have some more bottles. So I thought we could take this bottle and turn it into camouflage for something. So we'll start by fussy cutting around it. And then I'm thinking it could be a tuck spot. We could hide something small inside there. Now the idea that I've had might seem kind of lazy. I'm going to tell you anyway. What my thought is just glue this down as a tuck spot and then put our little prompt strips, just tuck them right inside here. That's going to mean that this goes really quickly and we definitely need to do a third prompt, but that's really what I want to do. And I think that sometimes we try to overcomplicate things. Let's just go for something simple. So let's glue down the side and bottom. And then actually, I think I want to bring the glue up like this. So it's more of a side loading pocket. And if we take our two prompts that we've had, flashback and then the camouflage, we can tuck them in here and nobody knows. They're just there. Okay, that was easy. Sorry if that was underwhelming for you guys, but I kind of love that. And like I said, sometimes it's just, you know, simple, straightforward, something quick. So let's definitely do one more. Unlikely pair. Combine two elements that don't usually go together, like lace and a ticket, bold color and delicate script, or a vintage photo with a neon label. Okay. Two things that don't go together. I love that idea of the vintage photo with the neon label. I bet I've got something I can do. So let's tuck this prompt under here with the other ones. And let's go to this page. We have some gorgeous cabinet cards that I was looking at in one of my other recent videos. I think it was spring into summer. And I had the thought, you know what? You need to use some of these in your own journals that you're keeping for yourself, because otherwise you're going to give them all away to people who are either getting your journals through a swap or they're buying them or whatever. So let's go find one. So this is the same stack that I was looking through the other day. This is a really beautiful picture. This is a beautiful picture. I keep saying this lady's super grouchy, but she probably has a good reason to be. Let's see. My favorite one in this collection, though, is this picture right here. I think that should go into my own journal, right? Don't you? Now it comes in this gorgeous fold-out thing here with a frame. I would love to be able to put this whole thing into an actual journal and have it flip out, but it's so big that I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get that to work. So we're just going to cut it down and use the small part. All right, how are we going to attach this so that we can still enjoy Barbara's beautiful papers? I think it needs to flip out in some way. Okay, I'm of two different minds here. I could take some of the actual frame piece that we just cut down to make a hinge, but I also know that's gonna add tons of extra bulk. So what I'd like to do is try this fabric hinge, and if it doesn't work, then I can always go back and pull it off and try something else, because we're going to use Fabri-Tac and it's a little bit forgiving. So it'll be an experiment. Okay, I've got this piece of fabric that's Seth Apter fabric. He's a fabric designer. And I'm going to put this partially on our gorgeous photograph. put paper down just to protect my desk. And then we'll put glue on the other part, which is going to go onto our page. I don't want to get my fingertips on the actual picture. I'm trying very hard to not touch it. Look how beautiful that is, though. Ooh. I feel like this is a newlywed couple. Now, are these people their friends? Because they don't look quite old enough to be parents. I think they must be their best friends. If you have any ideas for names for them, let me know. All right, now we need a neon label. And I know that Barbara didn't mean that we had to do exactly what she said in her prompt, but I really want to try a neon label with this vintage photo. I have some neon jelly roll pens, and I'm gonna get some black paper and see what we can create. All right, black paper. Here are my neon jelly roll pens. I think green would go well because we have some greens on the pages. They're pretty light, but we also have some green on this fabric. I think it would be the best choice out of those colors. What do I want the label to say? So what just popped into my head is a phrase that I first heard on a TV show ages and ages ago. It was called Christie, based on the novel by Catherine Marshall. And the character of Miss Alice, who's like a mentor to the title character, tells her, hold on to joy. And I like that phrase. So I'm gonna see if I can draw it out in some fancy letters here. I want to cut this with my deckled edge cutter, and then we'll glue it down. I'm struggling over here a little bit with everything on my desk. Now, do we want to put this actually on the photo, or do we want to put it over here? I think it needs to be on the photo. Sorry if anyone's yelling at me to not do that. Too late. It's down. Okay, there we go. Definitely an unusual combination, but I actually really like it. I'm so glad I chose that phrase because it's going to remind me not only of the actual meaning of the words to hold on to joy, but also how much I love that show because it just makes me happy to think about it. I don't know, things that are formative to your childhood, like the book Christie, was to me, was like, it just makes me happy. Like Christie, Anne of Green Gables, those kind of things. It's, you know, it's still gonna remind me of that and make me happy. So yay. Okay, so we made 3 prompts from this jar. I have 3 more for Barbara, and we can always create some more if you're interested. So let me know in the space below if you'd like me to do more prompts from a jar. And let me know how you have been lately. What have you been up to? Have you been creating, reading, doing fun and exciting things in your life, traveling? What have you been doing? I loved getting to read your comments. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading, crafting, or journaling. Adios.